Why hello you amazing beautiful people, welcome back to another Kendrick Lamar reaction video. So we finished Damn, and wow, my word, the album was insane. Literally one, I would argue it's the darkest Kendrick album I've seen, and such an open book and a look inside of Kendrick's mind, where he was, his own personality, and it was an entire album where we saw Kendrick wear his heart on his sleeve. It was incredibly intense at times and just a masterpiece of a freaking album. And now, literally every single one of you asked me to react to this video right here. It is by Tennis Tom. Is that how I say his name, or do I pronounce the TH? Tennis Thom? It could be Tennis Thom. I'll leave a link to his channel in the description. He's the one who made this video, so shout out that guy. And he made a deep dive into Damn, Kendrick Lamar's darkest opus. And so many of you, or opus, so many of you have been asking me to react to this one. It's easily been the most requested Kendrick Lamar Damn explanation video, because that's what we're gonna do today, all right? Now, it is huge. It is a massive video. So for consumer's sake, I'm gonna split it into two parts. You'll get part one today and part two in a few days as well. Because otherwise it's gonna be like a 2-hour-long reaction. So I'll split it into two parts, and then that way you'll have like an hour today. I don't really know how long we'll talk about it, but we like to talk. So it might be like an hour today, hour next day, all right? Anyway, shout out the original channel. Tennis's channel's in the description. If you want, if you're liking these reactions, please like, please subscribe. It really helps the channel. And yeah, I'm interested to know what album we're doing next. But before we do an album next, I want to do a couple more videos like we usually do. So let me know, what other Kendrick Lamar reactions would you like to see? Put your recommendations down below, unless I'm into my first time ever reaction to Kendrick Lamar's Damn Fully Explained. I recognize that guy. He was on the album cover of Damn. His name is Kendrick.
On the 23rd of March 2017, Kendrick Lamar dropped The Heart Part 4, the fourth installment in a series of singles that Kendrick now uses to tease upcoming projects on the way. In this song, Kendrick teases this new project by talking about his influence on the music industry and how he's still the greatest rapper alive. Basically, nothing you wouldn't expect from Kendrick, right? Yeah. However, nobody knew that what Kendrick had for us was his darkest project to date.
That's what I said. That's what. That makes me feel nice. That makes me feel nice, because I had a few people saying like, you know, it might not, maybe it's not his darkest album, and I was like, felt like his darkest album to me. But then I did notice all of you that were saying that were telling me to hold my damn chair because of future albums.
Filled with religious ideals and mysterious structures hidden within the track list, Damn tells the twisted journey of a man who's cursed without really knowing why. As he retrospects on his past, his rap career, and his many sins, he realizes all of this ties back to one terrifying thought: being damned to hell.
Oh, shit.
If there's a rap album that keeps intriguing me to this day, even if it's been out for a couple of years now, it's gotta be Damn. Believe it or not, this is the album that got me into hip-hop. Before that, I didn't listen to rap, and this album did.
I'm gonna love this guy. I'm gonna love this guy already, because this is like my new hip-hop journey, right? Like, this is all new for me, and this guy's saying the same thing. It's gonna be nice to be able to like connect with this guy on that level when he does this like deep dive into
the
this.
album that got me into hip-hop. Before that, I didn't listen to rap, and this album did the trick for me, not only because of the great music on there, but because there was clearly something special about this album that I didn't fully understand right from the back.
That's literally that's exactly what I felt like at the end of my reaction. I sat there and I was like, I'm missing something. There's something I don't know.
You're met with a pretty odd track list with all songs titled after only one word followed by a dot, like the title, Damn. You'll notice some of these songs have religious connotations, some of them even being related to the 7 deadly sins. The lyrics are pretty cryptic too, for the most part, with a ton of repeating lines throughout the album, like a line reminding us constantly that what happens on Earth stays on Earth. And the craziest part is, as a listener, by making certain choices, you can basically impact how the story plays out on this record. But I'm getting ahead of myself. Let's start at the beginning. A rather strange beginning, because the story on Damn starts with the death of Kendrick Lamar. The first song on the album, Blood, tells a rather simple story.
This is gonna blow my fucking mind, man. I already feel it. I feel it. Everything this guy said, I'm like, what? What the fuck? Everything about this album, I knew it. When I finished this album, I was like, I'm missing so much here. I know I'm missing so much. It felt like something that was so complex, but like so much of it just going over my head. I'm so glad we're doing this video. This is about to blow my fucking mind, man.
I was taking a walk the other day.
I didn't even know.
Kendrick is
Kendrick
walking
dying?
down a street somewhere and stumbles upon a blind woman. Now, who is this blind woman? It's
Justice.
not very clear.
It's
as
Justice,
of now.
isn't it?
However,
did I
Kendrick
say that? I don't
notices
remember.
that she seems kind of frustrated. It's like she had dropped something on the sidewalk and was trying to find it, but you know,
Justice is blind.
she's blind, so it's a little harder. Kendrick still decides to help her, though. He just offers to help look for that thing she might have lost. But then the woman replies with something very strange.
She replied, "Oh yes, you have lost something. You've lost your life."
And Kendrick dies suddenly from a gunshot. So now you're like, what the fuck is happening, right? Is Kendrick dead for the rest of the album? Who killed him? Was it the lady, or was it like a setup?
So I've assumed that he was talking about someone else and singing the song through the perspective of someone else, or this was like metaphoric, but it is a literal representation of Kendrick dying? That I didn't expect from the beginning.
Some gang planted this lady there just to kill Kendrick when
Yeah.
he passed. Well, considering we're just entering the album and that this story is definitely one of the most interesting pieces of the puzzle on this album, I'm gonna come back to it in a bit. But for now, let's turn our focus to actually the very first lines on this album. The song Blood starts with probably the most important lines of the whole album, without which it wouldn't really make sense as a whole. First of all, here Kendrick introduces the two main themes in Damn: wickedness and weakness. And these two themes will constantly oppose themselves to each other in this album. While weakness means the state or condition of lacking strength or a quality or feature regarded as a disadvantage or fault, wickedness means the quality of being evil or morally wrong. This also makes sense with the front and back cover on this record. The front cover represents weakness, as Kendrick is in a submissive position. This sounds wrong. I mean, look at him. We barely see his face, like he's almost bowing or something. But the back cover is more about wickedness, because Kendrick is surrounded by darkness and opposed to light, right? In Christianity, light represents the good and darkness is evil. He seems also pretty much ready to beat up someone with that face. So this cover,
It's funny how seeing the the picture on the back, I immediately just think, this looks like Kendrick's normal face. This looks like Kendrick has just been woken up and he's knackered. The one on the back looks like just how Kendrick looks most times.
And this cover, wickedness. And
if anything, he might be
Blood,
smiling
Kendrick
there.
presents these themes as kind of a choice to make. Are we weak or are we evil?
Never
And this
would've put these
choice
two next to
will
each other.
result in an outcome. You decide, are we gonna live or die? So we already know what's related to these themes.
Do you know what? Is there a Choose Your Own Adventure album? Because that'd be fucking insane. Imagine like you have to listen to the album and based off of like something in a song, the song doesn't literally tell you, but you can pick up messages in the song that will subconsciously or literally direct you to the next tracks. So let's say you listen to an album for the first time. You could listen to it like track number 1, 4, 8, and 12 or something, and that would tell you a completely different story as if you listen to it another way, but it's like a choose your own adventure kind of album. I'm wondering if we're going to get some kind of element based on what our guy said at the beginning here.
If you choose either one of them,
that'd be
you're
really
gonna
cool.
either live or die. there is clearly some sort of secret meaning or mystery behind this song, and Kendrick even confirmed it.
Starting with Blood.
Blood. It is one of the most interesting pieces on the record.
Is it the beginning of the end or the end of the beginning?
I can't tell you that. That's the whole thing.
Come on.
DNA is the second song on Damn, and it acts as a proper introduction to the character of Kendrick on this album. So, to put him in context, he's a well-established rapper on the top of his game, winning awards after another. It's almost too perfect. And it's no surprise, right? Because he had just released To Pimp a Butterfly, which is already considered one of the best albums of all time. But on this song, he's
Absolute fucking facts, man. Absolute facts. It is amazing how this man can stand out so much in music in general, release so much fucking incredible music, and have so much like metaphoric symbolism and deep dive and connection to there's just no one like him. 3 albums in, I ain't heard nothing like this guy in my life.
almost too perfect. He's so fucking confident on here. And this makes you question the timeline of events here. Why is Kendrick being killed on the first track, right? Considering Kendrick is talking about himself in the past, when he says, I was taking a walk the other day, it could be like Kendrick is telling a story he made up because he didn't die for real. Or maybe a theory that's a little more out there could be that it's a life flashback. He sees his life pass in front of his eyes before he dies, right? Maybe, but it's way too early to tell.
I got loyalty inside my DNA.
So the first track starts with him losing his life. Okay. But the line that's the confusing was, I was taking a walk the other day. Because in the first track, he's looking back at losing his life. Yeah, shit, how is that possible?
This verse, Kendrick tells us 23 things that are in his DNA, the same number as the number of chromosome pairs
This
in the human
dude,
DNA.
man!
There's quite some negative stuff here. Poison, pain, kill shit, and evil. But Kendrick still has some good in
Kill
him.
shit.
He's loyal, he's joyous, he's also peaceful. So, yeah, a lot of things in his DNA. But let's take a step back and look at these songs as a whole rather than focus on specific lines, because it's really easy to get lost when you're analyzing a Kendrick Lamar record. You can draw meaning from every fucking word in the song, which I'm trying not to do too much.
That's why I don't do the Genius listens on my first listen through. That's literally why. Because it would just completely take away from any kind of enjoyment. You would deep dive everything, and it would take me hours to get through just like 3 songs. And at that point, I'm not enjoying like the song for the song. Like, I doubt it when Kendrick made the song, he expected the song to be listened to, like someone sitting down there, and they're like, I got loyalty inside my DNA. Stop. Genius. Click. Oh, so basically, blah, blah. I don't think that's what he meant, right? You're supposed to listen to the song. So that's why I purposely don't do exactly what this guy
Remember
said.
the most important
For a
line
first
in
listen.
this album. Is it wickedness?
For a first listen.
Is it weakness? What if we took both of these themes and applied them to the songs directly? In other words, if you had to choose, would a song like DNA be more associated with weakness or wickedness? Wickedness, right? You can just look at the list of things Kendrick has in his DNA. Most of them could be associated with wickedness in general. Evil,
I hate that you have to
war,
associate
kill
to one
shit,
of those two,
money,
but
murder. I think
yeah,
these
I
are
guess if you
good
had no
examples
choice.
of wicked things. Or
Yeah.
just how Kendrick raps on this song. He seems angry, on edge, like he's ready to throw a punch at anybody.
You ain't shit without a buddy on your belt. You ain't shit without a ticket on your plate.
So DNA has got to be about wickedness. But that's where it gets interesting. What do you think Blood is about? Well, weakness, obviously. He fucking dies on the song. And if you had to guess, which one of those two would be the next song about? Ya is the third track on Damn, and right off
Okay.
the bat, you'll notice this song is way less energetic than DNA.
I'm diagnosed with real nigga conditions.
You'll see this song is way more pessimistic and vulnerable, so it seems that every song on Damn alternates between wickedness and weakness. And keep in mind, you decide, are we gonna live or die?
Alright, I kind of like the... I'm formulating my own theory. Let's just say hypothetically that this blind lady is Justice. Kendrick is killed. Justice is judging him. And in that moment, we go back and look at Kendrick's life. As this song is timeline to like... As the album timelines and showcases the good and the bad. Almost like someone adding to his scales. What about something like that, you know? Justice is there going, this is bad, this is good. This is bad, this is good. And that's what this album is supposed to represent. And that's how Kendrick was able to basically say, like, recount his own death. It's because he, at this point, is with Justice or something along those lines.
There's clearly something here. This song is basically a moment where Kendrick is reflecting on his massive fame. Even though he's one of the best rappers worldwide, he's worried he's gonna burn out.
My mama told me that I'ma work myself to death.
He's tired of interviews and news talking about him. In the hook, Kendrick says,
Buzzing, radars is buzzing.
Kendrick's radars are buzzing, meaning he's starting to be aware of that and to realize what negative effects this has on him. If we look at the title, you'd think Ya is just an abbreviation of the expression yeah.
So when I listened to this song for the first time, I literally said that, to me, it felt like multiple things. It felt like Kendrick looking at people around him and starting to see the negatives in people, in their motives and in what they want and in why they're calling and why they're hitting him up. And he's starting to like look at everybody as they're ringing him and see like, these people don't want what's best for me, they want what's best for them. And then his radar's buzzing, and I imagined Kendrick just sitting in a room, his phone is ringing and going crazy, and he's just kind of done. He's like looking at it and he's just like, these people just don't give a fuck about me. You know? Like he's just looking at his phone going, these people don't give a fuck about me, they don't care about me, and it's just constantly ringing. And he's just like sitting there becoming like more and more negative about it.
And that's what I thought until I searched it up. Yah is actually referring to Yahweh, the closest estimation to God's actual name in Hebrew. Which, you know, is kind of fitting because there's so many religious themes in this album.
I also thought it
Not
just
about
meant
a
yeah.
religion. I'm an Israelite. Don't call me black no more.
Wait, what? Did he just say he wasn't religious in an album that's literally packed with religious themes? This is actually where we learn a crucial thing about Kendrick on this album. Kendrick isn't religious in any way, but he does identify as an Israelite. So, what's an Israelite?
Yeah, what is it? I don't know. Someone let me know.
According to the Bible, Israelites are God's chosen people, descendants of Israel, and they're
Anyone noticing how he randomly snuck in the blind lady in the background there?
often linked to the book of Deuteronomy, where a verse from this book states that these people, the Israelites, will be cursed with confusion, frustration, and illnesses until they follow God's will. Now, what does this mean in this context?
How can you not be religious but
we
be
learn
an
a
Israelite?
bit later
Aren't they
in
the
this
two of the
album
same?
that Israelites are basically all people of color, according to Kendrick's cousin Carl.
The so-called blacks, Hispanic, and Native American Indians. We are the Israelites according to the Bible. The children.
Carl says that all the fucked up shit that's been happening around the world, and especially in America with all the racism, he provides a reason for that, why this is all happening. It's because to him, people of color are God's chosen people, Israelites, and until all those people follow God's true commandments, they're gonna be cursed with all the bad shit that's been happening, right? So
to go back, an Israelite is someone who is chosen by God, but they're chosen and they have to follow God, and until they do, they're going to be cursed and damned, which is an interesting idea. I'm not religious myself. I've mentioned this before in reactions, but I'm not anti-religion in any way. I actually find it sad when you do get people who are anti-religious, because I find it bizarre that any human would ever be like, I'm not like this, so I want to make sure that no one else is like this. It's like, just let people be what they want to be. Let people believe what they want to be. Let people be who they want to be. If you don't believe something, you don't need to force out on anybody else. Just shut the fuck up. Just you do you, they do them, right? So I'm not a huge fan of when people just like try and destroy someone's ideologies, because I don't understand why you would. But basically, so an Israelite is someone who could be cursed, but like they're cursed without even knowing it, because they're chosen by God and they have to follow God. But all of them have to follow God before the curse is lifted. Something like that. Am I wrong or right?
according to Carl, Kendrick is
right?
also cursed as an Israelite. But Kendrick doesn't give a shit. Like, Kendrick is like, oh yeah, God is cursing me, right? Me, the biggest rapper ever, right? Good joke. And even if Kendrick is feeling a little down on himself in Yah, Kendrick just decides to focus even more on his career, staying in his element.
New Kung Fu Kenny. Ain't nobody praying for me.
Element starts with Kid Capri shouting these lines, which will reoccur throughout the album. He says, "Ain't nobody praying for me," which fits within the religious theme of the last song. But then he says,
Y'all know what happens on Earth stays on Earth.
which seems like a pretty important piece of the puzzle to me. I mean, not only this phrase is stamped in the jewel case for the CD edition of Damn, but it apparently was the original name of the album before it was changed to Damn. So what does it mean? Well, when you hear it, it's kind of reminiscent of an expression everyone knows. What happens in Vegas stays in Vegas. And it means, like, if you go to Vegas and gamble your life savings on drugs and hookers, nobody has to know, and they won't. So if you take it...
No, they don't. No one has to know, and they definitely won't. Don't do that.
In the context of this album, Kendrick realizes
people will know.
Nobody's praying for me, and no matter what I do on this earth, I'm gonna end up damned anyway, so why does it matter?
I don't give a fuck. I don't give a fuck. I don't give a fuck.
Element.
It's funny. What happens on Earth stays on Earth, to me, almost feels like a simple denunciation of religion. In its like simplest form, it is basically saying that nothing I ever do on Earth will change anything else. Whatever I do here stays here, which again feels like denouncing religion. Basically saying like there isn't a heaven, there isn't a hell. Nothing I do is coming with me anywhere else. My actions here don't mean anything because those things don't exist. What happens on Earth stays on Earth. So if I was just reading that title as it was, that would feel like me reading Kendrick saying he's no longer religious anymore, which is what he literally says. And that feels like a way of saying that. I'm not religious anymore. What happens on Earth stays on Earth. That's what that feels like. That's how I would interpret it.
I don't give a fuck. I don't give a fuck. I don't give a fuck.
Element is a song about Kendrick asserting himself as the best rapper in the game, even more
again,
than on
I love
DNA.
how it says like, I love how it says again.
This is a direct response to what happened on Yah, with Kendrick learning he's apparently cursed. He doesn't give a fuck. He's a successful rapper. What's gonna happen, right? Anyway, Kendrick is shouting out loud that nobody is praying for him as kind of a flex, right? A rapper flex.
Bitch, all my grandma's dead, so ain't nobody praying for me. I'm on your head.
But strangely, Kendrick comes to the realization that, wait, is there really nobody praying for me?
Ain't nobody praying for you, nobody.
The transition from element to feel is a very important one because
I love that. I love that. I love that Element is literally like that confidence, that arrogance, you know. Ain't nobody praying for me. I don't give a fuck, man. I'm doing me. I'm successful. I'm famous. Ain't nobody praying for me. Yeah. And then walks off the stage and goes, shit. Wait, is really no one praying for me? And he like sits there and he starts thinking about it. He's like, people around me, my fans and stuff, they love my music, but he's like, is anyone really praying for me? Anyone that knows me?
In Element, Kendrick mentioned
I love
nobody
that
prayed
like
for him,
transition.
but he didn't give a fuck. However, the first few seconds going into Feel show us that, yes, Kendrick gave a fuck. One thing very interesting about those very first seconds in the song, you'll notice a female voice is saying the same phrase as Kendrick alongside him.
Ain't nobody praying for me.
This is the voice of Chelsea Blythe, who works A&R for Columbia Records and is a part of Kendrick's team of managers and producers. And this is to show that even in the music industry, nobody prays for him. Nobody's really loyal to him, not even in his team.
Nobody praying for me.
That's crazy.
This is crucial because in Element, Kendrick takes refuge in his rap career to escape the fact that he's apparently cursed.
Yeah, he's
but
got his people,
when he
he's got his
realizes
fans, and he takes
that he
refuge in
can't
that.
hide there anymore, that's when Kendrick opens up about what he really feels. The song is pretty straightforward. It's almost all written in the template of I feel like blank. So what does Kendrick feel like?
I feel like a chip on my shoulders. I feel like I'm losing my focus.
Kendrick feels like nobody's looking out for him, obviously, but he also feels like isolating himself from everyone. He also talks about his place in the music industry, how when he's on that stage, he feels like the best out there, but he's all alone in that world. And everybody in the industry are just enemies to him.
The feeling is toxic. I feel like I'm boxing demons, monsters, false prophets, scheming sponsors, industry promises.
But see how every song complements each other using the wickedness or weakness.
That is interesting. That is interesting because like you would assume Kendrick. We spoke about this when we reacted to the song, but you would assume Kendrick would literally be like he's got us, right? I'm new. I'm a new fan, hello. But he's got us, right? And you would assume that that is the comfort that he's looking for. He has his fans, he has his people, you know, we're there, we're supporting Kendrick. We love him, we got his back, right? But when he's on that stage, we're in the crowd, and he's up there. And there's an immediate separation, there's an immediate distance. And he's a solo artist, he didn't have a band, he's just on his own. He's on that stage. And in that moment, the people around him, like has been a theme in this album, he's questioning if they have his best interests at heart, and if so, we go back to lust. What are they lusting for? You know, what do they want? What is it that they actually want? Are they praying for Kendrick and his safety and his soul and like him to be happy, or are they praying that he's successful so they remain successful, that he stays winning so they remain winning? And in that regard, isn't everything that they're doing selfish? And they're not praying for Kendrick, they're praying for themselves using Kendrick. See what I mean? And even as fans, we're separated. We're in the crowd and cheering and rooting for him and loving his music. But it's different. So Kendrick is completely isolated, completely alone on that stage, surrounded by people who want him to do well so their pockets get filled up, looking at a crowd full of people who are different from him because he's the artist, we're cheering on his songs. And he just feels completely isolated, you know? It's like people say, you can be lonely and not alone.
Theory. On Element, Wickedness, Kendrick addresses his place in the music industry as he's the best one in the game and shitting on everyone else. However,
sounds like Kendrick,
Feel,
yeah.
Kendrick
that
still
sound
talks
like
about
he'd say.
the music industry and how he's the best, but also how this industry he dominates is full of toxicity, therefore showing weakness again. But the most crucial thing we can take away from this song is that Kendrick might be cursed for real. Like Deuteronomy says, he's confused, he's frustrated, he can't sleep, he can't breathe. So before in Ya and Element, it was like, ooh, I'm not religious enough, so God's gonna curse me. Ooh, spooky. But on this song, Kendrick realizes, wait, what if it's real?
What if he hasn't lost his life, but he's lost his life, as in like he didn't die. You've lost your life. It's more like you've lost your purpose, you know? Like, you've lost your life is more like saying you've lost your way.
Loyalty is a direct response to feel in a way.
I need loyalty, loyalty, loyalty.
Nobody prays for him, so he wants loyal people close to him who are gonna pray for him.
He wants his
basically.
people, yeah.
There's also a video for Loyalty, which honestly adds so much to the song and the album. So I can't talk about this song without mentioning the music video. First of all,
Okay, so these are going to be light spoilers to the music video, but that's fine. We can check out the music video anyway, all right? We're going to still do this. I will 100% check out this music video.
the video is filled with imagery that we could take as anything, really. We got this dog barking at the beginning with red eyes, a portion of a street with red making a form of cross.
Yeah.
Then we have Kendrick literally being murdered by Rihanna while blindfolded, maybe as a test of loyalty. But then Kendrick and Rihanna,
I'm going to be honest, as a way to go out, surrounded by beautiful women, is up there, you know? As a way to go out, is up there, is up there.
fall in love after he beats up a dude, and we get this playing. We also get a scene with a Kendrick dressed in black kidnapping another Kendrick dressed in white. That Kendrick is then choked to death with a bag, maybe because he wasn't loyal. Keep in mind we had two Kendricks on the covers too.
Yeah.
Maybe something to think about. But the thing the video illustrates the best is how only the most loyal people get into Kendrick's inner circle, with all these people trying to approach Kendrick but then sinking into the ground.
Oh,
all in
shit.
all, Loyalty is a song about Kendrick trying
That's
to
such
fix
good
his
symbolism.
problem of nobody praying for him by only having the most loyal people beside him.
A shot. So good. There was another guy, and there's a famous song. Is it Rock Superstar or something like that? Big house, big cars, trying to look good, like that one. Don't give up that song. What the fucking song was that? Doesn't they mention like sharks in that one? Like in the opening, there's like a prologue there, and or something. God damn it! I wish I could remember. Can't remember. Let me know. Let me know what I'm rambling about.
Pride starts with another interesting song phrase. And when you first hear it, it's kind of hard to decipher the real meaning here. He says love's gonna get you killed, but pride also? Like, what? But there's clearly a distinction Kendrick makes here between killed and death.
Which could be a callback to the beginning of this album.
Body and spirit. Basically, he says love's gonna put you in the ground, but pride will infect your mind and damage the ones around you. That's why he says pride is gonna be the death of you and me. This here is
And I've already spoken about what I think about pride. I mentioned this on the track. I think pride is bullshit. I think pride is absolutely bullshit, and I think pride fucks over more people than any other emotion does.
extremely significant, especially for the story, because it brings a whole new meaning to the song Blood, where, if you remember, Kendrick is killed by a gunshot after trying to help an elderly blind woman. Maybe Kendrick didn't literally die from being shot. Maybe it's his spirit that was shot or wounded. After all, the lady says he's lost his life by being too focused or blinded by the success of his career.
And then he also, in other songs, talks about his lust, his desires, and that sort of stuff, the things that have corrupted him. So maybe that could be it. Maybe this is literally, all of this is the beginning, like saying, you've lost your life, snap. And in that moment, Kendrick then goes back through everything, all these actions. He's mentally thinking about everything and how he's fallen off the path. life, you know, how he's lost his life, how in that moment where he is now, he has been killed. And then we have the entire album which showcases his losing of himself, his losing of his life.
Pride is considered as a feeling of deep pleasure or satisfaction derived from one's own achievements. Hence, Kendrick's pride is his rap career, obviously.
That's never
With
how
the
I
past
looked
few
at it,
songs
but
and everything,
that is
you
true.
can tell that pride is slowly
that sounds fine.
infecting his mind with the fact he's the greatest rapper of all time. I mean, he can't stop talking about it. DNA, Ya, and Element were just about his rap career. Pride is also considered like the worst possible sin in the Bible, because pride makes you feel like you're more worthy and above everyone else.
I never knew that. I never knew that pride was considered the worst sin in the Bible, which I find so interesting, because I get into debates with people all the time about pride so much. Also, this imagery is well fucked up, super fucked up. Actually, I'm gonna stop looking at that. That's really weird. Because I've always said it. I truly feel like the moments in my life where I have fucked up the most, made the worst decisions, are moments where my pride has got the better of me, and it's caused me to make decisions thinking about how I look, how my image would be tarnished. How can this person make me look like this big? That's disgraceful. Anger. I'm going for it. You know, situations like that. And when I got older and when I got married and things like this, I realized that in those moments that my pride would only negatively affect me, in a sense where I could take pride in my achievements. That's a nice feeling, you know. I did well, cool. But using pride as a way to action would only ever be negative. So if my image is ever hurt, I never use pride as a response. That's the best way of putting it. I always calm, relax, and think about a logical way to approach it, not a prideful way to approach it.
Even God.
If that makes
in
sense.
Christianity, nobody's supposed to feel superior to God, right? In the song, Kendrick talks about struggling with pride in his rap career. He's literally living through his rap career. He just said he cares more about his lyrics than other people. Maybe in that perfect alternate universe, there's a Kendrick that cares about people and shares what he's gained. But then in the hook, Kendrick starts doubting there's even one universe in which he doesn't have pride.
God, Pride is such an incredible song. It's such an incredible song.
Is the 8th track on Damn.
I'm guessing for copyright reasons, that's why that one wasn't played there, which is fair enough, man.
And
I'm surprised
it's
it's the
a
first time it's happened, to be
braggadocious
honest.
rap song where Kendrick takes shots at other people, but also at himself. By the way, fun fact, the instrumental for this song was actually this close to being given to Gucci Mane, which would have been a fucking disaster. But anyway, the first verse is organized.
My guy's reaction there is hilarious. That is amazing. Oh shit. The way he's like, which would have been a fucking disaster. The seriousness he said that. That's so funny. Oh my god. Oh shit, that was well funny. Oh man, that caught me off guard. We've been so serious. That one really caught me off guard. It was a level of like seriousness, which such a fucking like damn man. Tell us how you really feel.
Like a classic
Oh man, that hurt
braggadocious
my
rap.
chest.
He's not really taking shots at anyone else. He's just talking about himself and how great he is, how he's the best rapper of all time. Who would have guessed? then the chorus comes, and Kendrick is basically reflecting on what he just said, thinking to himself, I gotta be humble about that. Humble is the turning point in the album, and it's where we enter what I like to call the healing phase of this album. It's really where it becomes evident how the transitions between the tracks of the album are crucial to understanding what's happening.
It is interesting, humble being that feeling of like, I have to be humble. Like looking at, I'm the greatest of all time. I'm floating above everyone else. Look how fucking amazing I am. And then coming back down to earth and being like, be humble. Because I said that this feels like Kendrick talking to other people, but Kendrick also talks about his own humbleness a lot in this song. So yeah, it is kind of like Kendrick learning through his actions. And you know, like you get those bad parents that say like, do what I say, not what I do. This feels like Kendrick saying like he said that once to someone, and then they were like, well, you're doing it. And he was like, oh, yeah, I am. And he's like, I don't like that you're acting like that, but I'm acting like that. But I feel like I have a reason to act like this, but I still don't like how you're acting like that. And you probably think you have a reason to act like this. So maybe I need to be more humble.
The only way Kendrick can overcome his biggest sin, pride, is with humbleness. And this is hard for Kendrick, so hard that he can't help himself to not throw shots at other people too in the second verse. It's like, bitch, I gotta be humble. But you two, I mean, it's not for nothing that we hear Rihanna say this in Loyalty.
It's so hard to be humble.
Still, Kendrick manages to get rid of one of his biggest sins. But what about the others? Lust is the ninth. Water. I need some water. That's fucking funny. Lust is the 9th song on Damn, and another one of the 7 deadly sins. Lust is considered as a very strong sexual desire, but as a
how the hell is the lust imagery nowhere near as cheeky and fucked up as the damn Pride one? I don't even see nobody like doing nothing. What the hell? The Pride one was weird. This one is weird still. What the fuck kind of world is it? But it's way more tame though. It's weird how like the peacock feathers and that sort of stuff. Was this what you would consider lust? This is so weird, by the way. This shit is well creepy.
Considered as a very strong sexual desire. But as a sin, it's considered more as when sexual pleasure is sought for itself, isolated from its procreative and unitive purposes. Anyway.
Oh, unitive purposes. I never knew that. So does that mean, let me know if I'm analyzing this right. Does that mean like as in marriage? You know, unitive purpose. Or maybe it doesn't. Maybe it doesn't. Oh, okay. Does that mean that in terms of the Bible, you're only allowed to have sex when you either want a kid or when you are consummating your marriage? The consummation of a marriage in the night, that's what the unitive purposes means? Because I like to perceive that as unitive purposes literally meaning unity between a man and a woman in a relationship. That kind of seems like a nice way of looking at it, right? Like it's with someone you love and you're uniting together. You're showcasing your unity, you know, because you lust for one another and you want one another and you're showcasing that by getting down and dirty and banging, you know. That's how I like to look at it. That's how I choose to look at it.
This song
I'm not really
fits
religious,
its
but
title
I like
pretty well because it's a really sexual song. Just looking at the hook, as blood rushed my favorite vein. Gee, I wonder where that is. Let me put the head in. I respect the cat. I promise. Just a touch. Dude, I don't know what's wrong with me, okay? I've listened to this album probably more times than I've jerked off in my life. No, that's not true. No, but I've listened...
He did think about it. Yeah, the lyrics are crazy.
More times than I've jerked off in my life. No, that's not true. No, but I've listened to this album so many times.
You got
that
hashtag as well, man.
That. Like, what the fuck is wrong with me? Anyway, the first verse of the song is telling the routine of a man and a woman who just live for short types of pleasure.
Wake up in the morning, think about money, kick your feet up, watch you a comedy,
such a good song,
and just go to sleep to do it.
You know what's interesting with the instrumental? One, it sounds reversed, and I don't know if I pointed that out when we listened to to it. But 2, it reminds me a lot of that weird, like, do 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 do, that instrumental, that really like famous weird instrumental. If you guys know, then you know. Let me know. Do you know? I don't know.
All over again. The second verse, though, tells us the routine of Kendrick, a rapper who's stuck in his ways. He's telling himself he needs to change, but at the end of the day, he doesn't.
Life manager call, the lobby call is 11:30. Did this before, promised myself I'd be an hour early.
This is another example of Kendrick exposing his weaknesses. He also states he's not only been lusting over sexual pleasures, but now fame and money. One more interesting thing is that Kendrick now seems to fear God because of his lust.
Lust turn into fear. Lately in James 4:4 says, friend of the world is enemy of the Lord.
This is actually the first time in this album Kendrick talks about a fear of being damned by God. And I can't help to think that this is so fucking interesting because, like, Kendrick is supposedly cursed by God in Feel, track 5, but nowhere in that song he mentions he's scared of God, right? It's only when he starts his healing process that he starts fearing God. It's like he's slowly...
Shit, it literally... I didn't even realize that Fear and God were back to back on the title list there, showcasing the actual fear. In the beginning of the album, looking over his previous life and being damned and cursed, and then he becomes fearful of God because he's realizing if there's an afterlife and he's going there, if he believes in it, then he's not going the way he wants to.
Becoming more religious just because he fears what God could do to him, which is just crazy to me. You'll see this sentiment of fear will only grow stronger in the next tracks.
Yeah, like a Sith
He's
Lord.
slowly starting to drift more towards weakness.
Love or lust.
Right from the start, we can tell that there's a strong connection between love and the last track, Lust. Love is the literal opposite of lust, and on this song, love is the main subject. Kendrick mainly talking about his relationship with his wife, Whitney Alford. Although, Kendrick still emphasizes he values one thing more than love.
Loyalty?
Loyalty.
Yeah, I knew it.
Keep it
I
100,
fucking
I'd
knew
rather
it.
you trust me than to.
This makes a whole lot of sense, especially if we look at the music video for Loyalty, where it's basically a love story between...
Do you know what's really interesting? Is, so my first relationship before I met my wife was the worst damn relationship I ever had, man. I've only ever had 2 relationships in my life. Like I've had girlfriends, but I've only had 2 serious relationships in my life. And the first one I ever had in my life, I got cheated on and gaslit into being convinced and told it wasn't real and I was the problem and all this sort of stuff and blah, blah, blah. To the point where I literally had to go ask the guy because I was just like, am I crazy? And that happened a lot. And I was just taken on a fucking roller coaster. And it messed me up so much that I just became this horrible son of a bitch after that relationship. And I just did not care about anything. My emotions were broken and cracked. And I really just didn't like who I became. And it took me a long time to get in touch with my emotions again. Like, I stopped crying. I just became cold. And even my wife says, like, when she first met me, I was way more cold and I didn't cry. I wasn't like emotional, right? I was very like just placid. In like a cold way. And then my wife was the one who broke all those walls down and then turned me into this big emotional mess that you guys get now, cries at everything. And that was because of my wife. But the reason I'm pointing this out, when I first met my wife, and it was the same with her last relationship, she went through the same damn things. We were 2 broken people who met each other. And it took us ages, and we did baby steps. And it took us a long time to repair all the damage that had been done. And we did it together. And trust and loyalty were more important than anything. And that gave us like a safety in each other. And it makes me want to cry just talking about it, but it's true. So I totally feel this. When Kendrick like talks about loyalty being so significant through what like, and I imagine anyone watching this who's being like cheated on feels the same. That loyalty and that trust that gets broken, you just want that again. Like you want someone to trust you, and you want to just completely trust them, and you want that safety, and that absolutely is so precious.
In Kendrick
Totally
and
get it.
Rihanna. Also, remember the two Kendricks from the Loyalty video where one chokes another one to death? Well, they kind of reappear in the video for Love, with the one wearing black being happy and in love, and the one wearing white being unhappy and in a sort of toxic relationship. Note that in the beginning, Kendrick presents a choice again, like in Blood, love or lust, wickedness or weakness. Kendrick goes from lust to love on this album, obviously with the transition from the track Lust to the track Love. Also, the Kendrick in black represents what's happening right now in the story. He overcome his lust with love. So why is there another Kendrick doing the complete opposite? He obviously chose love in the end. Why do you need to mention it?
Why?
Well, dude, I love doing this. Me knowing something you don't know yet. There's a big reveal coming soon, trust me. So it seems that Kendrick overcomes his pride with humbleness and overcomes his lust with love. He's letting go of his wickedness, this evil side of him, by getting rid of all his sins.
This guy just teasing us, man. He just teasing us. And you know what? I'm going to tease as well. Because that's where this week's video is going to end. That's where it's going to end. That's it. It's done. It's done. Headphones are off. I've stopped the screen recording. It's done. It's done. We're over halfway through, my friends. We are over halfway through. There's still a lot to go through. And we've already recorded for nearly an hour, like I said we would. Now, the reason we're doing 2 parts is because I want to make sure I get your attention. I want to make sure you guys are focused. But also, I want to make sure I'm properly focused as well. And we like to talk here, which I hope you guys like. I hope you guys enjoy that. I'm never a big fan of like my favorite reactions are not the ones that are like 4 minutes long on a song that's 3 minutes and 50 seconds long. You know, I like the reactions where people chat and it feels a bit more personal. I mean, at the end of the day, it's a bloody reaction, right? And although you could argue that this is a reaction, there's your thumbnail faces. It's more than that, right? I always try and make sure that I put a bit of me into this, like tell you about me. I always want to be like open and honest, which is why I try my best to connect with the songs in my own life and talk about my own experiences, because mainly I want you guys to be able to do that too with me, but with the music as well. And I want to hear your stories. I hope that will make sense. I basically never want this to feel like it sounds weird, but I never want to be considered a reaction channel as much as I just want to be considered that guy you go hang out with. And that sounds dodgy, but that's what I've always kind of tried to do on this channel. You know, that's why I'm just me. That's why, like, at the beginning in the intro, I was making a couple of mistakes. I just leave them in. It's because, and that's why my videos are, like, not heavily edited, chopped up, zoomed in, and that sort of stuff. It's because I like it being raw. I've always said my favorite idea of this channel is it is the equivalent of sitting down on your friend's sofa and watching something with them. You know, listening to a song for the first time and that sort of stuff and getting that experience. And I also want this channel to be genuine, where people who love something can go and watch someone get the same first-time reaction or a different first-time reaction to something they're passionate about as well. Which, again, is why I don't do the Genius lyrics, because when you guys listen to the album for the first time, you probably didn't do that. And if I did, then I would be taken away from a genuine first-time reaction. Does that all make sense? So, yeah. That's why these have a bit more talking in them, but I hope people will enjoy that aspect of it. I hope you guys do. This video is fucking incredible, man. This video is stupidly good. It's blowing my mind. It's blowing my mind, man. I can't believe this album. It's crazy. This album is insane. I can't believe the journey we've just been taken on. Are you shitting me, man? This album is wild. This album is fucking out of this world. Everything we have seen, everything we have been told is insane. It's insane. Holy shit, man. what an album. Like, I knew this was Kendrick showcasing his vulnerabilities, but to this regard and this inner battle with himself and this overcoming his own wickedness and weakness and this battle between the two and like trying to understand the right path to take as he's going on this mental journey, going back through his actions and seeing where he should go for the future as he looks back on how he acted and he says, I should change, but then repeating that as well, going further into the hole, but then that fear is rising because he knows he should change, but he's struggling to change, and he's scared that if he doesn't change, shit's gonna go bad, and he's thinking he's cursed, and maybe that's where he's putting a little bit of the blame on. He's like, the reason I can't change is because I'm cursed, and it goes down that rabbit hole, and it's brilliant. It's genius. How does this guy come up with this, man? How does this guy come up with this? Insane concepts, insane lyrics, insane songs. I've never reacted to shit like this, man. Oh. God. There's no one I've ever reacted to like Kendrick. No one. No one. People always talk about like, because when I've been talking to people saying I'm reacting to Kendrick, one thing that people say is like, oh, Kendrick, his fans are like fiercely loyal about how great he is. I fucking know why. I really truly feel like, because I had a conversation with someone as well in my life where I was talking about Kendrick, and they like said like, I'm not a big fan of Kendrick. Everyone always says he's the greatest out of all time, I'm not a big fan. And they're like, I like a couple songs, maybe whatever. And then I literally said like, how much of Kendrick you actually listen to? I was like, can you name one song? And they're like, and I was like, you can't judge someone if you haven't fucking listened to them. That's what a child does when you put food in front of them. It looks yucky. Like, fucking eat it, man. Like, you can't judge shit if you don't try and experience it. You can't judge a genre of music, a category of music, an artist, food, a movie, unless you experience it. No one, like, would you go read a bunch of movie reviews from people who haven't seen a film? No, you wouldn't. And it's the same with an opinion. An opinion that hasn't seen anything, hasn't consumed the thing, is fucking useless. So when someone says they don't like X, and you go, well, how much of X have you experienced? And they go, then shut the fuck up. I had this recently. I watched the movie Until Dawn, and I was talking on my stream about how much I loved the movie, and I was surprised that it got so much hate. I thought it was awesome. I do. Until Dawn is an amazing film. And I had a bunch of people in my chat saying like, but it doesn't follow the game and this sort of stuff. And I was literally asked chat, I was like, how many of you have actually seen it? I was like, loads of you were shitting on it. How many have actually seen it? No one had seen it. There was not one person. They were all just shitting on it. People like that, so annoying. So that's where I am right now. That's my mindset right now. All these people, if you haven't, because none of them have gone down this rabbit hole. None of them experienced this. You guys have experienced way more than I have. But with what I have, 3 albums in, I so get it. And I never would have as an outsider unless I went on this journey. It's eye-opening. It's incredible. And there's no exaggeration, nothing there. It is incredible. Goosebumps down my back when I say that, because it absolutely is. And I hope you guys are enjoying this journey as much as I am enjoying this journey, because holy shit, this is like nothing I've ever experienced. This is something more. Something more than just music reactions. This is something deeper. And I don't even know how to properly explain it, but my word, it is something I wish every human could experience. I feel like listening to Kendrick Lamar should be like something people just have to do, I really do. To Pimp a Butterfly, I stand by it, should be homework for people. I think as just people, America in particular, because I feel like that album is so historically like important for America. As a British person, I'm an outsider. But I definitely feel like that is an album that would benefit just everyday person listening to. I can't wait to check out part 2 of this video. I'm not even joking. I'm so excited, man. This guy just said there's a big reveal coming and I paused before it. Anyway, like and subscribe. Have an amazing day. Like and subscribe, and you only have to wait a couple more days and the reaction will be back. Anyway, I love all of you. Have an awesome week, and as always, my friends, you will see me in the next video.